Welcome back to Infinite Love. It's amazing, divine timing and all. I was sitting here thinking about what am I going to talk about today? I had a couple ideas running through my mind. And again, I normally don't wait till the last minute. I even had an episode laid out, ready to go. And something just shifted within me. Divine timing took place. I had come across the song Let It Be, and that is a near and dear song. A song that has so much meaning to it, behind it. And quickly, I just knew. I just knew that I had to change everything. I had my episode all laid out, written out too. But it just wasn't time for it. And how easy and simple I could just utilize this episode that I wrote out and just do it and go with it. And I know it's last minute, but that's kind of how the past week has been for me. So many changes are taking place all around me, and especially within me. And as uncomfortable as it has been, I've trusted it. I've trusted to know that it's all meant to be. It all serves a greater purpose. Even if I'm dying to know what that purpose is right then and there, I simply just let it be. It's not time for me to know things until it is. And so here I am, speaking freely, all because of one song, in which I heard twice today. Sure, you hear it once, it's a coincidence. But I don't believe in coincidences. And as my mind raced as I sat down, and then my cat decided to join me and meow, I could have easily been frustrated, but it all served a greater purpose. And then there it was, that song playing again. And I just smiled and said, all right, let it be. Let these changes transpire. Go with the flow of it. Even if you don't know what that flow is exactly, trust it. Do it. It'll all come out naturally. And so here I am, trusting. Trusting in the unknown. Kind of like how this weather's been. I'm a Midwesterner, but I swear, I belong on an island or somewhere warm where the sun is always shining. That is my vibe. But lately in the Midwest, the weather's been amazing. And then, of course, it drops and goes back to the winter it's supposed to be. But then it comes back up, and that's kind of how it's been the last couple days. I'm pretty sure it even got to 70 today. And the sun came out of nowhere in the midst of all the clouds. And it was a great day. And I was hoping to enjoy my weekend and get out and do things. But that's not quite how it went for me. I was exhausted. The full moon wiped me out. I could feel everything changing within me as well as around me. And I didn't know exactly what was going on or transpiring, but I knew it had to take its course. And you know that feeling where you get excited, well, at least for me on this healing journey and spiritual journey, you get excited for those moments because, one, you have no expectation of what's going to transpire, but two, it's this sudden rush of energy that just fills you head to toe, and you just soar. And that's kind of how I've been feeling lately up until the weekend, where I just felt a little uncomfortable. And I wasn't sure where that uncomfortability was coming from. So I simply let it be, without knowing that that's what I was actually doing. All I knew was I trusted it. I trusted the fact that I slept a lot. I trusted the fact that I didn't get out to the woods like I wanted to. I trusted the fact that I did end up cleaning my house, which is a plus. I was supposed to tackle some work, and then I didn't. And I trusted it, only to find out that it worked in my favor, that I didn't even have to rush to get it all done. Everything got moved. So here I am, just trusting the unknown. And that's kind of how I feel like this year's been. Not holding on to anything, not holding expectations for anything, but one, believing in it, two, trusting in it, trusting in myself, listening to my intuition. And I feel like my intuition is getting stronger and stronger every day. It's a beautiful gift that I choose to see, that I choose to utilize in the best way possible. So as the weekend carried on, I thought, all right, well, it's a quiet weekend. And then out of nowhere, the emotions kind of start surfacing. The ego is surfacing, old thoughts. And I'm thinking, why is everything like this coming back? Why do I feel like I'm taking 100 steps backwards when I know I'm not, though? I know I'm not. So I let it all transpire. It has to. And I'm like, all right, the full moon. It's time to purge. And then you second guess yourself and you doubt yourself and you're wondering, well, why am I still purging this? I haven't had to do this in forever. And so here I am. I'm watching a show. Well, just listening to it, honestly. And then out of nowhere, I just start to cry. And I'm sitting there thinking, what am I even crying about? I honestly didn't even know. I asked myself that question. I had no answer, no response. So I just cried. And then I'm kind of laughing at myself. And I'm like, all right, well, I know this is supposed to take place, but what am I really crying about? And man, does this feel uncomfortable. Well, why should crying feel uncomfortable? It hasn't in the past, so why is it uncomfortable now? And I kept hearing, just let it be. Just let it all take place. You don't have to know why. One day you will. All I knew is I didn't like that uncomfortability that I was feeling. It just felt like going back in time to my darkest nights. And I just wasn't sure how it could just easily flip like that. Especially since I was in such a good mindset. It literally flipped the switch. And I could have easily just reached out to someone and asked questions. But I was told to just sit with it. Let go of the attachment, let it all go, trust, and let it be. So I did. I purged it all out of me. I even went to bed early. I was just so tired. I felt drained. And all I knew is I wanted to just sleep. Sleep throughout the night, not wake up, get the rest I needed. But of course, it's Sunday. And you know what that means. It means you got all that extra sleep all weekend long. You are so not going to go to bed at an early hour to be ready for work. But I was okay with that. I knew that would happen. And lo and behold, my alarm went off and it felt like I maybe had gotten just a few hours of sleep. But I was grateful. That was at least enough. And then as the day went on, I could feel the energy shifting all around me. Not within me, but all around me. And this is where my mind kind of went to the response of why. Why did I feel so uncomfortable? Well, I'll tell you why, because this is what I learned. All my life, I was a people pleaser. I didn't like drama. I didn't like chaos. I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. So I was simply a people pleaser. Fix the problems. But really what it was I wanted peace within, but it's easier to deflect outwardly. I wanted to fix the problems of others, but really it was me that needed fixing. And on this healing journey, I knew that. I knew that about me. That was something I needed to heal, something to detach from, something to let go. And that's what I did. It was a slow journey, a very long, hard journey of letting go of that people-pleasing persona of myself. I am always going to be a giver, yes. I am built that way, and I don't deny it. I don't reject it. I don't shame it or doubt it. However, when I notice, when I reflect, when I go within and I realize that I am low on energy or that my cup is low, I am going to put myself first. I am going to set those boundaries. I am going to say no. I am going to walk away when a problem arises, not because I'm running from the problem, but because I'm reading the room, I'm reading the energy, and I know that sometimes problems can't be fixed. You might bring everything to the table, understanding, compassion, listening, but not everyone is on the same page as you. Not everyone is doing the work. And that's okay. But it's also okay to walk away, to not respond, definitely not react, but to not respond. Because you know that the words that you say out loud aren't going to be heard. So why allow yourself to give away that energy, that beautiful energy that is yours? Sometimes it's okay to just remain quiet. You don't always have to have the answers, and you can't always fix everything, especially if others don't want that help. And that was a hard lesson, but it definitely is a beautiful lesson. And so that's what transpired this week for me, was I was able to see that the healing I did within myself, letting go of that people-pleasing persona of mine, allowed me to pull back my energy and reserve it just for me, to pour back into myself, to not create more chaos upon chaos. Don't add fuel to the fire if you know that you can't be the one to put the fire out because it's somebody else's fire within. But what an uncomfortable feeling. I cannot lie. I did feel uncomfortable, but it was a new uncomfortable. It was something I needed to feel and understand and see. It's a beautiful reflection, but still uncomfortable. And I know as time passes and more scenarios present themselves in the same light, that my healing is triggering somebody else, is stirring something up inside them, and their response isn't quite positive. And it could easily trigger you, but because you're doing the work, you're simply identifying the situation, identifying the energies, holding space for them, but walking away, not getting yourself involved. And I found myself doing that a few times this week. And again, different feeling. Because a part of me at times has been using my voice in such a positive way, but in such a loud, vibrant way too. Being an advocate, letting people know this is how I feel, and I'm not going to apologize how I feel, but this is the right thing to do. These are the right choices to make. So it's been empowering, yet uncomfortable this past week, with all the changes that I'm experiencing and feeling, as well as reflecting and sharing outwardly. It's beautiful. It really is. So when I broke down Sunday and didn't know why I was breaking down or why I was feeling so uncomfortable in my own soul, within my own skin, I learned and realized it's because of the transformations that were taking place. It was the new shining through, yet the old letting go. It was seeing the past versions of me through others. And that reflection is painful because then you grieve that portion of you, that past version of you, while still loving that version of you. I hope that makes sense. It does to me. But you see, even in the healing journey and the spiritual journey, all these transformations that take place, you're going to find yourself grieving the old versions of you in such a deep way, while still trying to maintain that unconditional, beautiful love for yourself, for that version, because you honor that version. That version served a purpose at that time. That version of you didn't know the difference of what is right and what is wrong because you were conditioned all your life. You were protecting that broken part of you because you had to experience it over and over. So you will grieve from time to time when these transformations take place, and they will happen unexpectedly, as mine did. And you'll want to process it so fast because you're able to. However, sometimes you're supposed to just let it all be. Because the purpose isn't to process and move on and shift and just get over it. The purpose is to feel everything, understand its purpose, understand why you're going through these changes, Don't skip the steps. I always tell myself, don't rush the process. Hold on to the hope and the faith. And then that song came to me today. Let it be. And right after hearing that song, which just inspired me to keep moving forward, I came across a quote. Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all the darkness. And how fitting it all came through in alignment as I carried out that hope that I knew everything would be okay. That night felt so dark, incredibly dark, out of nowhere. And immediately you want to question yourself. You want to doubt yourself. You want to have fear take over. But I knew I was stronger than that darkness. I knew I was greater than that fear. And I wasn't going to abide by the fear of my past. Nor was I going to allow fear for the changes that were taking place here and now. It wasn't going to happen. It can't. I didn't come this far to let fear swoop over me as it has in my past. No way. Not now. Not ever. So my message today is simply trust. Trust in the unknown. Trust in the fact that you don't have all the answers right here and now, but you will. Trust in the healing journey. Trust in your faith in the spiritual journey. Trust in the transformations that aren't all so beautifully simple and poetic. Rather, they can be dark and uncomfortable. Trust that your strength within serves a greater purpose. And reflect with gratitude on how far you've come. You see, I was sitting in my car this morning and I got to work early. And the warmth all around me already outside, I just embraced it all with gratitude. And I was self-reflecting on how far I've come on this journey for myself. And I didn't have all the answers yet. But as my day carried out, as everything on my timeline shifted, as my intentions of doing a whole different podcast today were quickly changed because I allowed it. I allowed it all to take place. I could have easily taken the easy route, the one where I prepared already a whole episode. I could be done just like that. But I didn't want easy. I trusted the timing, the signs, the synchronicities, the messages that came through. And I allowed change to transpire within me. And I went with it. I let it all be. And by doing so, here I am delivering this podcast and feeling aligned, feeling so highly vibrational within, wearing the biggest smile upon my face. And sure, I could have said, oh man, I got out of work late. I'm exhausted. I only have tonight to do this. All I want to do is lounge on my couch and just relax after a long day of work. And then I could have easily went to, you wasted the entire weekend. Why didn't you just do that? Because I wasn't ready. Because that wasn't what my purpose was. Because the episode I could have recorded fallen on deaf ears. Because alignment is everything to me. I have faith in my alignment. I have faith in the universe. All because I let go and simply just let it be. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Infinite Love. Have an amazing day.